Hey, what's up, guys? This video is going to be a little grainy. I'm going with 480p today because the 720 videos take forever to upload, so I don't feel like waiting. Got myself my Pepsi in my mug because I'm a fiend, and it's pretty late, so that's why I'm up right now, probably because I'm drinking Pepsi. Caffeine messes with me, you know. It doesn't get to everybody, I don't think. It definitely gets to me. When will I learn? So anyway, this video is going to be about kind of related to this. I just seen this, is kind of cool. It's funny. Anybody know what this is? Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's a little 380, and this video is going to be kind of related to 380 because this video is going to be carry systems for my old girl Elsie. Make sure Elsie's not loaded. She's not. Okay. A lot of people have different ideas of how to carry a little tiny gun like this. I mean, this gun is small. If you need a reminder, I'll try and show you. Let me try and get this in the camera. It's hard to get the angle. With my hand. You can't see my entire hand, maybe. This isn't really the best angle for this type of thing. Might be a cool shot right there for the video, though, huh? So, here's this little tiny thing here, and I'm gonna go over ways to carry this. And I don't think I've ever shown this before. There's a little upgrade I did on there. In that front sight post. I'm blocking myself from seeing one. Look at that. Can you see it? Let me put it on the background. Yes, I'm going to point it to myself. Check that it's safe. See that little white dot on the front there? Did that with some nail polish. And actually, I thought that it would wear off and I'd have to redo it because I did that over a year ago. But it hasn't. It stayed on there. It's been like paint. So that's cool. It really helps acquire that front sight too. So anyway, if you're gonna have a little guy like this, which I recommend you do have something small, even if it be maybe not quite this small, maybe one of the little 9mm. I really like the PF9 car. Even if you don't have, or you can even go with one of those little tiny Derringers. Maybe one of those North American Arms Minis 22. I wouldn't really recommend for everyday carry. I'd go with at least something in 380, especially when you can get it in a package this tiny and light. But you're still going to need a way to carry this because even though I know some people do it, I don't really recommend that you just go and stick it in your pocket and walk around with it that way. Why? Even though this has a very heavy trigger on it, I still wouldn't want to go around without covering this trigger up. First of all. Second of all, if you are going to put this in your pocket, let's say you wear baggy pants and you have big pockets, or so you put it in a cargo pocket or a coat pocket. This thing is you drop it down in your cargo pocket, it's just gonna fall. It's probably gonna lay like this. That's what I find it typically does. And when you go to grab it, when you reach down in your pocket to grab it, you're obviously not gonna be in the right position. That can cost you valuable time, maybe cost you your life. This is a defensive gun for you. So, the first way I'm going to go over carrying it is a way that you probably won't really see too often. And that's with this. This is the DeSantis Intruder, I believe this is called. This is an inside the waistband holster. And you're probably thinking this is way too much for an LCP. As little as an LCP is, why would you go with a holster like this? I kind of agree with that a little bit. But I'm gonna say that when you do have this on and you're walking around with your LCP, you don't even know it. And it's kind of a cliche, people say, well, this holster is so comfortable, you walk around with it all day and you don't even know it. I'm going to venture to say that most people don't actually walk around with their holsters all day. That's just a guess, but I'm going to say, some do. Most of them don't. And when they're telling you that, I walk around with this holster, I have a, a Glock 21 that I walk around with all day, and I don't even know it's there. They're full of baloney. There's no way that's true, I don't think, unless they're just a really exceptional person in some sort of way. I'm not buying that. But when you wear this with the LCP, you really, genuinely will forget that you're wearing anything. Seriously, you really will. I mean, literally, you'll forget that you have it until maybe you need it. You forget that you have it so much that maybe when you do need it, you won't even remember that you have it as an option. It's kind of funny. I'm joking, but really, I have had this on and I have forgotten that I even had the gun with me, literally. And that's happened with some other things. You can carry like a Glock 26 size gun, and because of the short handle, you can actually forget that you're carrying it. But then when you do a certain thing, you move a certain way, when you sit in your car, you'll probably remember. It'll bump up against the back of the seat, and you'll say, "Oh yeah, I'm carrying a Glock 26 today." And especially with the bigger guns, with the full-size guns, you will be reminded that you have it several times. With this little guy, and it doesn't have to be this one. Any holster like this, you'll forget you have it. I like this better than the single clip variety. Even though there's not really a lot of weight to distribute with this, I mean that's the main thing of having these two clips, is that it's distributing the weight. It's still more comfortable, I think, to have the two clips, and it's more secure. This thing is really solid with the two clips on both sides, and it also allows you to adjust cant, which I have. You see that I have these screws in two different holes, which changes the cant. Which the cant is the angle that it sits. So you can have it sit like this in your pants, or you can have it sit this. I like to be canted slightly forward, and that's what I have here. I could even, go for even a more forward cant, and that would be fine with me because I like canted. I'm kind of fat, so when I reach back, I'm really bending my arm, and so a cant is a good thing for me. So I really recommend this. Now, do I recommend this specific holster? When I first was looking into holsters to get, I really did want to go with the two hooks. This kind of hybrid style that's very common now, with the leather on the back, the kydex on the front. And this is real kydex on the front. It's supposed to be. When I was first looking at these, and I was reading some of the reviews, one or two people had mentioned that it didn't really have good retention, that it was kind of loose in there. So I got it anyway because it still had overall pretty good reviews, but I found out why the reviewers had said that it was too loose, and it wasn't their imagination or something. It wasn't something that they made up, but the problem wasn't as realistic as they made it out to be either. You see when it's in there, it's kind of loose. I'm showing that on camera. When it's in there, it's kind of loose. And if I flip it upside down, I can actually shake it out of there. I don't know if it'll do it without the magazine in there, but if I had a loaded magazine in there, that much weight, I could shake this out of here and it would fall. I don't think I'm going to try it because I don't want to load the magazine and I don't want to drop it if I don't catch it. So there's some justification in that. But I don't know if the reviewer never actually wore the thing or not, because when you wear it the way that it's meant to be worn, okay, and this is up against your body, and this kind of bends a little bit, even if it just bends slightly, that bending locks this in here solid. So it's no longer shaking. You don't hear it rattling. I'm shaking it. I'm shaking it faster than the camera's frame rate can go because I'm not really using the greatest camera right now. You know, it's solid and it's not going anywhere. And even if somehow you manage to get this into a position where this stayed completely straight, let's say maybe the small of your back, as long as the belt that you're wearing, you know, puts maybe just a pound or a half pound of pressure on here, it would have the same exact effect. So even though when you're not actually wearing this, it is slightly loose. Okay, and if it was loaded and you flipped it upside down and shook it, it will fall out of there. In actual practical use, when you're using it the way that it was designed to be used, it never comes into play, and it's in there rock solid. And I mean, I've gone hiking with this, so you know, I've fallen in it. Anything that you can imagine, worst case scenario, I mean, I basically have done it in this, and it's not going anywhere. It's rock solid. You know, if you were maybe just gonna like put it in here and then attach this to a backpack and then walk around with it like that, then this is not going to be the best option. So don't even consider it if that's what you're going to do. But if you're just intending to wear this the way that it was designed to be used, then you know it's not a problem. So I just wanted to address that. That's something that I've wanted to address basically since not too long after I got this, because you know it wasn't very long. You know, when I first got it, I put it in there, I said, wow, you know, that guy was right. It really is kind of loose. And then as soon as I put it on and I go to draw it, you know, because as soon as of course when you get the gun, you get the holster, of course you got to test it, right? So I put it on, I go to draw it, and it's pretty snug in there, and I'm like, you know, and I realized that any little bit of pressure that's applied here, either via your belt or the curve that's put on there, because you know, if you put a curve into here, you know, you're going to arc that up, and it's going to arc right into the gun. That's going to apply even the slightest pressure is enough to keep it in there rock solid. It seems to lock in there with the trigger guard. This is what it looks like it locks in there with. So there's that, and there's an advantage to having it loose that way, and that is that there is no break-in period for this. I have another one of these, actually like the King Tuck, which I have a review on. There was a significant break-in period for that. I'll say probably a couple weeks. I mean, it was usable before then, but the first 3 days, let's say, you know, it was so tight to put it in there and take it out. There's no, you know, it would have been, you know, it would have cost you some time in a defensive situation for sure. It was very snug to pull it out of there. This one is ready to go right in the box. If I could have, in a perfect world, I would probably choose my holster to be somewhere in between the two. You know, not as loose as this one. You know, maybe with a very slight break-in period, but not like the King Tuck. Not as tight. Now, once the King Tuck is broken in, it is, you know, it's a very good fit. But one thing I'll say that is an advantage to this as well. Once the King Tuck is broken in, because the Kydex doesn't give. The Kydex, there's no break-in period there. All the break-in is with the leather. So the backside of the leather takes the shape of the gun. You know, when they come really tight. The downside to that is you get that shape showing through on the back, and this is what's up against your body. You know, you don't really want this having bulges and things, and the King Tuck does. And even though it still stays pretty comfortable, it's not as comfortable as this. This thing is super comfortable, I'm telling you. The combination with that gun being so small and that holster, the way that it fits loose and then, you know, just kind of hugs the gun when it's on your body, is so comfortable. So I don't know if that's a feature of all of the DeSantis. Like I said, I believe that's the Intruder. I don't know if that's a feature of all of them for all the models, or if that's only with the Kel-Tec P3AT or the I said like a robot, right? Like P3AT or the I'm forgetting what I'm talking about. The LCP. I don't know, you know, but it just works really exceptionally well with this combination. Another big advantage to carrying inside the waistband with a double clip holster like this, because a lot of people will say that this gun is way too small for that type of system, and for me maybe that's true. When this is in the holster, when I go to draw this on my waist, my fingers are big, so even with the pinky extension, I only fit 2 fingers perfectly with pinky extension. Right now I'm fitting just 1.5 fingers. Maybe this plastic clip is in the way. I can't really get a good grip on it because it's so small for me. Maybe it gets lost because I'm fat. It gets lost in my fat rolls or whatever. Maybe I don't really have fat rolls big enough to get lost in, by the way. But you know what I'm saying. It's so small, it'd be easy to get a good grip on it quickly. I will say what I'm getting at is that's true for me, but that's not true for a woman. On a woman, this is perfect. For a woman to carry this, it's like me carrying, a Glock 26. It's just perfect size. The grip is a 2-finger grip, and for a woman, this would fit her hands like a Glock 26 fits my hand. And it's my wife wears this all the time. She basically, whenever I carry this gun, I carry it in my pocket. Whenever she carries it in this. And for her, it just fits her so perfectly that it's actually a big problem for me, because I want her to carry something bigger, 9mm, and I just can't get her away from this thing because it's just so comfortable. You don't even know that it's there. It's so small, and this gun is so skinny that you can't even tell that she has it. And that's what she likes. She doesn't like people knowing that she has anything on her. And this makes that perfect, and it's so comfortable. And for a woman, I think that a lot of people will say, even on a woman, this isn't big enough to be on the waist carry gun. It's more of a pocket size. There is no way that a woman who wears like tight jeans and things like women usually do these days, is going to fit this in her front pants pocket. It's just not going to happen. Maybe she's wearing a coat. She could put it in her coat or her jacket pocket, yeah. But in her pants pocket, like in the summer or the fall, spring, not the winter, on a day where you don't need a coat, where's she going to put this thing? It's not going to go in the pocket. I'm telling you. If it even did fit in her pocket, it would be printing so bad it would just look funny, And women don't like to put things in their front pockets anyways when they're wearing tight jeans because it makes the jeans look funny. I've been told. So, for a woman, I think this is excellent, especially one who isn't willing to carry something bigger. I'm trying to talk my wife into a PF9, and I just can't win. So, the one downside I thought about this originally was these clips are plastic. I was a little concerned about them. I thought they were gonna break. I was pretty sure of it. Plastic clips, that's scary thought for me. But the reviews on this were good enough that I thought I would give it a try anyways. And I'll say I have been pleasantly surprised. I pulled on these things, and I wrenched on them pretty hard. Because when I take it off the belt, I'll just pull these clips off and pull it right off, because you can pull the clip right off of the body. I'll try and show that here. The lighting in here is hard to show, but I could stick my finger between there. Maybe that'd be the better way to do it. Say that. And so you can pull this right off your pants. It's like quick release clips basically, and they don't break. They don't. It's kind of scary thinking about plastic in that roll, but it's held up as well as any of the metal clips that I have, literally. Let me get a drink. Take those off. There's a little storm going on outside. You might hear my fan in the window too. But anyway, these clips have been excellent, and they're so thick. I would almost prefer the strength. Has turned out not to be a problem, and the design is excellent actually. These, even without a belt, these will like clip to like the seam on your pants, and they just do not come off. I mean, very good design. Um, they're so thick. I don't know if they're actually lighter than metal ones would be, because metal ones would be much thinner. I suspect they probably are slightly lighter because they are very light. And they're strong as heck. I don't think you're ever going to break them unless you really do something extreme to them. And the design is excellent. The only thing that I will say is a hit on these, where I do prefer the metal ones, is that I think these are more noticeable. They're definitely fatter. If you look how fat these things are, you know, let's see if I can get a good view of it. Here. There you go there. See how fat they are this way? Metal ones are a lot thinner. Metal ones are very thin, you know, they're paper thin. I'm drinking Pepsi now and burp. That's probably why I burp in all my videos. Maybe I always drink Pepsi before I make a video. I actually don't, so I just went like 3 months without drinking any Pepsi. So anyway, I think, and especially on a woman, how I was recommending, you know, this is such an awesome carry system for a woman. I think these clips are more noticeable than the metal ones would be, because they're bigger and they're pretty wide too, and they do stand out. And I don't know. For me personally, I don't mind them being plastic, but for the reasons I just said, I could definitely see why you'd want them to be metal. So now we're gonna move on to the way that I usually carry it. Basically always is this way. Now, like I might have mentioned already, some people just throw a gun in their pocket and, you know, call it a day. But I believe you should cover up that trigger guard and, you know, the trigger. And this is the system that I go with. This is called, I believe that this one is the DeSantis Nemesis. Hopefully I'm not getting these two holsters mixed up with each other. I just got all up in your grill. Hopefully I'm not getting these mixed up with each other. This, I believe, is the Nemesis. This is the one, it's not like tacky on the outside, but it does have like some kind of rubbery type material, and it grips the pocket pretty well, depending on the pocket material. It's not tacky though. It doesn't like really grip it. It's got this little tab that when you pull it out, it basically is the problem. It always stays in there, and it works on almost exactly the same principle as the other one. I don't know. It just seems to be the way DeSantis likes to run their operation, and that's, if I don't hold this at all, this will actually slide right out of here. And if I haven't had it in here for a while, I just had it in here, so it's a little bit worn to the shape. If I haven't had it in here for a while, this will actually kind of shrink. And I can stick it in here and I can hang it upside down and it'll be fine, but if I shake it, it'll still come out. But either way, you see that it won't really stay in there. There's no retention. But if I just simply hold it with the strength that it would take just to hold it up, you know, I'm only holding this with this, you know, not into this extra at all. When you pull it, you know, it's got good retention then, you know. And then if you put any more weight on it, it's like rock solid. It's actually almost hard to take it out. So it works on the same principle. Your pocket will put a little bit of a squeeze on here, and it will really grip it. Like right now, I'm not squeezing very hard, but I'm just squeezing most of the surface, so that, you know, most of the surface area is gripping most of the surface area of the gun, as it would in your pocket, as it's sandwiched between your pocket and your leg, and it's, you know, it's pretty in there, you know, and I'm not squeezing that hard. If I squeeze it hard, it'd probably be impossible to pull it out of here, or very difficult. So this can be a problem if you wear like really loose fitting, like loose material shorts or pants. There was one time I was wearing basketball shorts, which were very baggy, and so they didn't put any kind of a squeeze on this. And I was at my house, I was sitting in my chair, and like the recliner, and this fell out and was like in the chair, in the cushion of the chair. And I went and got my drink or whatever, and then later on I realized I had this in my pocket, and this was in the chair. So luckily that happened at my house and not at like a friend's house or something, and it really wasn't a problem, but it was just something to be aware of. Now that has never happened in any pair of jeans or khakis or anything else, but it is something to think about, like in your coat where it's not going to get any kind of weight on it. If you had really baggy pants, if you wear like really, I wear fairly baggy pants, it's not a problem. But if you wear really, really baggy pants, it might be a problem. Um, maybe in a cargo pocket would be a problem. And for those, I would go with maybe a leather one, or for those situations, maybe a leather one or one of the Kydex, where you're going to get better retention. But this one, for like a jeans pocket, it works excellent. And the one advantage that it has to the leather or the Kydex is that it draws, very quick. Because when you put your hand in your pocket, you open it up and you're going to take that little bit of pressure off, and it's just going to pull right out like nothing. So, that's it. And actually, I realized that if I put a little stitch in here, also so it's closed slightly, I could actually adjust the tension myself, and I can make it so it stays tight. But to be honest, with the little bit of retention that's there now, it's really not a problem. It's only ever, I've used this for a couple of years now, literally a couple of years, about 2 years almost exactly, and it's never been a problem. It's just that one time, and it was the basketball shorts, and the pockets in those aren't very deep either, so it was just sitting at the top, probably hanging out of my pocket. If I was to be wearing that type of thing all the time, I was the type of person that I'm always wearing sweatpants or basketball shorts or jogging pants or any of that type of stuff. If I was always wearing those things, I would probably go with the Kydex version that you could get. But for me, I'm always basically wearing jeans or khakis or dress pants. Usually jeans and khakis. This works excellent. And it works in my coat pockets. That might be a problem, but the type of coat pockets I have are always up high, so when I sit down they don't get bent. If I was wearing like a long coat and you had some low pockets or something, that might be a problem. But it's just something to be aware of. But I'm gonna give both of these products, maybe like I'll say that this is pretty excellent. The comfort, the durability, and one thing I wanted to mention: if you look at the back of this, this thing almost looks new, and it's 2 years old. If you look at like the King Tuck one that I have, the rivets, I don't know if these rivets are plastic or what they are, but they haven't broken or anything. They've been excellent as far as durability, and I've gone on hikes and everything else with this. I mean, miles and miles of hiking with this, literally. And it's barely discolored. And that's what I was saying on my King Tuck. The rivets have like stained the leather, where you can see that there's like a trail of black that comes there, probably brought off by my sweat or something. And this one looks brand new. I don't know if these are plastic and that's why they don't discolor or anything. That very well could be. But it's just, this thing looks basically new. It's like, I feel like I never use it. If it wasn't for the slightly curved shape, how would you even know? It's just excellent. And the durability on this has been pretty good. I'm going to say that I would have liked this to be maybe a little bit snugger. So for that, I'm going to give this right here, maybe like a 3 out of 5 star rating. The durability is excellent. Comfort is excellent. It really, in practical use, it works really, really well. I would just like it to be a little bit snugger. They make these things fit like 3 or 4 different guns, so it's not really the ultimate custom fit. And this, I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 stars. Even though, same thing, if I was gonna strap this onto a backpack, like I was saying, if that was an intended use I would have, then I would maybe give it 2 out of 5 stars or something, because it's not gonna work for that. But because I use it the way that it was made to be used, it's never ever had any problems. I've never even almost lost a gun or anything like that at all. I mean, it stays put. You just put a little bit of weight on there, and you know, when you're wearing it, your pants will just do that. Your body will just do that, and you know, it just doesn't go anywhere. I mean, you know, I don't know. I can shake it for days. I'm probably shaking it faster than the camera can see, but you know, just excellent. So that's what I recommend. And those are the ways that I always carry. I don't usually use the inside the waistband holster for it anymore. I did. There was a period of time that I did. You know, it was a long period of time. I probably did for 4 or 5 months straight. Every single day. And I liked it. It was very, 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 very comfortable. But it just, when you could take, for me, being a guy, and I could just take that gun and just throw it in my pocket, it's so much easier. Now, it's not necessarily faster. It depends. See, there's an advantage to carrying it in your pocket. It's on your waist, depending on the situation. If you're walking somewhere and you see that maybe there's trouble up ahead, and you get your hand in your pocket, and you got your hand on your gun, but it looks like it's just in your pocket, the pocket carry is a big, big advantage, right? Because you're just, nobody will ever know that your hand's on your gun. But if you don't see trouble coming, and you have to hurry up and get your hand in your pocket, that's much more difficult than it is to do than just go to your waist. Going to your waist is quick and easy, so it really depends. Maybe in a coat pocket is a little easier, but in the summertime you're not wearing a coat or a jacket. So those are just some things to think of. Another way to carry would be on your ankle. I don't never carry a backup, basically. Maybe if I had a dangerous job, if I was going places where that I thought that was necessary, or maybe if somebody was making threats on me or something like that, maybe I would then. But I've never had the need to do it as of right now. So, I never carry on the ankle, but that would be another viable way to carry. Like I said, I don't really like the single clip systems, but I could see that some women might like that. It's a little bit smaller. It's not as obvious. That would be like where the holster is in here like this, and then there's a clip, and then that just clips. So they make, like, Uncle Mike's makes some of those, and a bunch of companies. Basically, everybody makes some of those. I don't really recommend that, but like I said, I can see why some women would like that, because it's kind of a less of a, less obvious. You don't have these big clips on the outside of your belt or on the outside of your pants if your shirt isn't going to cover that part. This is tuckable. I forgot to mention that in the my King Tuck review, which is also tuckable. Hence the name King Tuck. But if you look at that, yeah, this is hard to see. I don't know what's up with the contrast on my camera right now, but my finger is going behind that clip there, so you can tuck your shirt right into it. And I don't recommend that you just throw it in your pocket. Like I said, one thing that I didn't mention, I kind of touched on it earlier, but I didn't follow up, is that because of the shape of this, see this edge here, that will orient this in your, this will keep the orientation of the firearm like this. So when you reach in there, it'll always be like this, and you can train to draw your gun from your pocket like this. One thing that I like about this, when it's in your pocket, because it has this line here, and the gun creates this line here, it almost, if it ever prints, it just looks like you got like a big phone, like a really big phone, because you can see that, like you can't really tell the thickness. You just see the kind of that square shape. The only line that's missing is right here. But because you create the other three, that's really how it comes off. It looks like you just got a big phone in your pocket. A lot of phones nowadays are huge. That's really it. So those are the ways I recommend you carry a tiny little gun like that. And that's it. Thanks for watching, guys.